are here in the Bahamas.
We are going to make it right.
If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know?
Great job, brother. It was fun to meet you.
What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out.
Something that pop your butt.
Yeah. Oh, I can.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in all of the interwebs. No channel works harder to keep you in the know about crypto. We come to you live with the latest news every single day. The latest news at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Exactly. Johnny, thank you. Johnny, come say hey. Come say hi on the camera. This is Johnny.
What up, what up? What up, BitSquad?
Uh-oh, there he goes. That's right. From the BitSquad to the early morning setting up of the show. By the way, Johnny always has this done by 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just so y'all know. Johnny does a great job. I'm hoping to squeeze Johnny on camera sometime. Johnny's got a lot. He was telling me some stuff a minute ago about some stuff he's doing with some liquidity pools with Uniswap V3. Like, it's over my head. So, you know, kind of like this new hat. Put up a poll. Do you like the hat? We're trying to get some new merch items. You want to zoom in on my face though? Hey guys. It looks like a San Francisco Giants hat.
It does.
We're trying to figure out if we like this one or not. I like the puff stitching though. It doesn't have the puff stitching. It is flat. I like where it comes out a little bit. Guys, serious question, Ben. This from Zabadoo. No, I'm never saying that guy's name on the channel again. That guy's never, just so everybody understands, if you guys see that comment, he's never getting mentioned on my channel again for all times. He was wrong about some stuff. If you know who I'm talking about, he's been dead wrong. And I, in a friendly way, called it out, just like he had been doing to me. And he started attacking me. He's on the attack because he's very clearly wrong. So never getting mentioned on this channel again. I will never say his name again. This will actually be the only time I ever even address it. Because when somebody comes against me in a vitriolic way, they're dead to me. They're dead to me. And that means the number one thing that people like is when I mention them on this show because they grow because of it. And that'll never happen again. And let that be a lesson to you guys that like to have friendly rivals with me. If it turns vitriolic, you're effing done. So there we go. I can play good with most of them. Guys, let's get started here. I want to get into this SEC stuff, which, by the way, I'm going to be talking more about this. Well, not more. I'll talk more this morning, but in a more concise version you can find on the channel today at 3 o'clock, because there are some really interesting things going on here. And I can't wait. After we do this, I do want to talk about what's going to be going on with, can you put just at the bottom, put for guest interview, can you just change that to Simon Dixon?
Sure.
And then put Celsius chat under that. And then maybe like, what do we do next? Like, I don't like it when we have the same thing every time. It's 3 slots, but Simon Dixon's going to be coming on the show at the end at, what time's he coming on?
12:30, I believe.
12:30. What's that? He's coming on at 12:15. So he'll be on at 12:15. And we're gonna give him a dedicated amount of time. Because it's the kind of thing where we want to tell you guys what we're doing next with Celsius. And I will, obviously, in a few minutes, I'm going to get into what happened while I'm gone. Oh, Max Santana likes the hat. So 67% like it. We're going to make one that says BitSquad on the front and has the BitBoy logo on the back. Would you guys like that one? I think that would be pretty cool. Question for BitBoy and TJ. If you had 100K, would you DCA all in crypto or diverse sci-fi? Diverse sci-fi. Diversify in other investments. We do all in crypto, right?
Yeah, all crypto.
All crypto. No, there's no reason to put money in anything else, to be honest with you. When will Richard be coming back on? I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him lately. He responded to me on Twitter a little bit. But there you go. All right. Gary Gensler, everything but Bitcoin can be held accountable under SEC jurisdiction. And let me tell you, this is such a joke. This is such a joke. It's unbelievable. I mean, look at this guy. They took off his makeup for this one. Can you believe that? They took off his makeup. Does this not look like something you would see in an encyclopedia about Neanderthals? I mean, does he, if you take, somebody should take that suit off of him. Well, hope Miss Gensler doesn't do it. That'd be scary. But somebody please turn this into an Encyclopedia Britannica article on Neanderthals, because that's what this guy looks like. I mean, he literally does. SEC Chair Gensler discussed Bitcoin, the political repercussions of FTX collapse, blah, 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 blah. He said, I love the CFTC. You know what this is like? I can see him right now. I can see him right now. I love the CFTC. It's so wonderful. I love Gary Gensler. That's how he's saying it for sure. He believes that SEC has all the legal resources to supervise the sector. Guys, this is such a joke. It's such an unbelievable joke what's going on. And people are taking this serious. You want to talk about the scam of the banks? This is a scam right now. What they're doing, trying to make you think certain things about altcoins, and what happened in the last market, they were constantly fighting Bitcoin. Now they moved on from Bitcoin. Now they fought Bitcoin enough. Now they're fighting altcoins. What he's saying here is absolutely insane. 501st Lego Trooper, go get him. Catching Up to Crypto, the book, on Amazon, available now, and in stores at most Barnes & Noble. From what we've been able to figure out, you can go down to your local Barnes & Noble. If they don't have it, you can go down there and ask for it. And I do want to appeal to you guys one more time. Make sure to contact your local library. This is a way for us to get free copies into people's hands. I mean, the library will pay for it, whatever. It's not to sell books. And so people can, even if they don't have enough money to go get a $22 book, they can go to the library for free and they can get it. And if you ask them to add it, to my understanding, they pretty much have to. So I would really encourage you guys to do that. Okay. Let's see. It says they're cracking down on Web3 companies by enforcing stringent regulations. Where are these regulations at? What, TJ, what is the list of crypto regulations that Gary Gensler has put in for Web3? Do you know?
I have no idea. I've never seen it.
Huh. Weird, isn't it? According to Gensler, the roadmap or roadway or runway for crypto listed with the SEC is getting shorter. He argues that the structure of upcoming crypto business make it tricky to regulate them. He's also claimed in the past Bitcoin's the only crypto that can be tagged as a commodity. Well, he said that before. He didn't say that this time. It's weird that this article is making a big deal of something he said in the past. Let's see. An argument CFTC's Rostin Benham has accepted to establish the agency's jurisdiction over virtual assets. So CFTC is saying, yeah, we definitely have Bitcoin, and the SEC agrees. But the way this is written, this is weird. Like, the way this is written, it makes it sound like Gary Gensler told Rostin Benham, I want you to think about this crap. Like, the way this article is written is such a joke. I want to read this. I want you guys to really think about the messaging the message it's communicating, and then let's talk about the facts. Gensler has also claimed in the past that Bitcoin is the only crypto that could be tagged a commodity. An argument that CFTC's Rostin Benham has accepted to establish the agency's jurisdiction over the virtual assets. Does that not make it sound like Gary Gensler told him what to do?
Mm-hmm.
Gary Gensler has no power over the CFTC. Gary Gensler has no power over Rostin Benham. No power at all. The way this is written is Gary Gensler, it's all a publicity play. It's all about making Gary Gensler look like the top lizard in the tree, because I think lizards live in trees sometimes. Guys, the CFTC doesn't have to do anything Gary Gensler says. In fact, I believe CFTC is going to end up being in control of altcoins. I think that's coming. Hopefully that's kind of what I'm going to Washington this week to talk about. I will be gone Tuesday through Thursday this week. I will be in Washington. I will be at the Capitol, is all I will tell you guys. Can't really say more than that at this moment, but we are making big waves. And this is why I'm not scared of Gary Gensler. If y'all don't, if there's one human on earth that is not scared to go toe to toe with this lizard person, I will stand far enough away so his tongue can't reach me. I will say that because I don't want Gary Gensler to lick me. It's me. I'm coming at Gary. Get ready for that. This is going to be a fight. And I've been told he's already on the way out, but don't let the door hit him because it might squish his tail. And we know what happens when a lizard loses its tail. It grows a whole nother human. That's how Gary Gensler has a twin brother, Robbie. But the fact is, he has no power over the CFTC. By capitalization, Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. He argued that since main crypto initiatives meet the criteria for securities, the agency should register them. An argument, here we go. Now you guys will start to see what I'm doing this week. An argument many Republican members of Congress have criticized But he again brought up related points around overseas tokens during the conversation. He said these tokens are securities because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group. How about this, you freaking douche? How about we come up with a category for digital money? How about that? How about we come up with a category for crypto because it doesn't fit in your box? Stop trying to make the box bigger. Let's make a new box and put it in that and allow the people in charge of that box to regulate it, because you certainly don't want a McDonald's manager running your Chick-fil-A. McDonald's service isn't that bad, I'll be honest with you. There's far worse than, look, I got to call out some bad customer service restaurants. Crystal and KFC, probably the worst. You agree?
Yeah, what was the one when we went hunting that one time? I can't remember where it was. It wasn't a... And then Justin Williams pulled up some really funny TikToks.
That was a Dairy Queen.
Was it a Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
I wanted to say a Dairy Queen, but
Dairy Queens are all really franchised, so it really depends on which one you get. Some of them are vibrant, bustling, really cool, and then others are like the only job in town.
yeah.
So yeah, there
And
you
maybe
go.
I think it was Popeyes. Popeyes known to have pretty bad service.
Popeyes also has terrible customer service.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how nice the Popeyes is either. That's a great point. That's a great point. Checkers is the worst. We know somebody that owns a bunch of Checkers, don't we?
Yeah.
We're going to try not to throw them under the bus. So there you go. All right. So in response, Attorney Logan Bindler said his opinion, this is 100% accurate, guys. Friendly reminder, his opinions are not legally dispositive. Don't know how to pronounce that word. Guys, I'm going to make a whole video explaining how you and I have more power than Gary Gensler, or equal. We have equal power. You and I have equal power to Gary Gensler. I would actually argue I'm more powerful than Gary Gensler. I would argue that. I have way more social influence than he does. The average person with zero social influence, you have literally as much power as Gary Gensler does. Go check the lawsuit against XRP, the class action lawsuit, not the SEC lawsuit. Go check the one against Tezos. Go see who's behind that. They're regular people making the same charges, same allegations, still has to go through a judicial process. I'll be telling you guys more about that later on. What is Checkers? What's the other name of Checkers? Rallies?
Yeah.
Yeah. IMF prefers to regulate crypto than banning it outright. Guys, IMF ain't going to be regulating crypto. Of course they prefer. You see the language. You see how they say things. This would be like me going to my kid's baseball game. And when she starts middle school ball tomorrow night, I'm so excited about, by the way. My other kid, he's moved. We thought 7 was too young for travel. So we're going back to rec, and he'll do All-Stars over the summer. It's just too much. And then my daughter, her team won their tennis playoffs this weekend. So excited. They're going on to the semifinals next week. But the point is here, this would be like me going to my kid's baseball game. And my kid gets thrown out at second base, okay? Now, he's really been working hard on that base running, but he's been thrown out a few times. He gets thrown out. I walk on the field. This is how I walk. I walk just like this. I walk on the field.
Oh, boy.
Excuse me, umpires. I would like for you guys to know that I actually personally would do a better job at umpiring this game than you. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just umpire the game from this point forward. That's what I'm going to do. The umpires would be like, what do you mean? Oh, well, actually, you may not notice, I actually have umpire training. When I was, and this is a true story, when I was 22, I actually umpired a Little League game one time. That was enough for me. Never again. Worst job in America, umpire. God bless you, umpires. So I actually have some background here. I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and take over from this point. I'm going to be umpiring the game. That's exactly what Gary Gensler is doing. It's a joke. So there we go. The IMF saying they're going to regulate crypto, also a joke. Treasury Secretary Yellen calls for a strong regulatory framework for crypto activities. Now, this is interesting. Janet Yellen stressed the importance of implementing a strong regulatory framework for crypto during a G20 meeting. In addition, Georgieva, who is that? It's the managing director for the IMF. This is what we just covered in the story beforehand, that it's necessary to differentiate CBDCs from stablecoins and cryptocurrencies, which are issued by private companies. I told you guys, stablecoin regulation is going to be bad. They're setting the path for CBDCs. End of the day, I'm not that worried about that stuff in the short term. The IMF suggested the country reconsider its plans to increase exposure to Bitcoin, citing, let me go ahead and tell you what really they said, citing If you don't, we will stop giving you money. That's exactly what they do. And then, of course, crypto lawyers flame Gensler over claims that all cryptos are securities. I'm going to be talking much more about this a little bit later on today at 3 o'clock. And then we're going to have another video about this. We're going to break it down even further in a future video this week. When does the new hat hit the stores? I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, we're still locking in the design.
Yeah, that's why we're asking. That's why I'm asking today. I'm asking. I like wearing a hat on the show, but it doesn't have the logo. This is old school
That's
BitBoy right here.
Throwback right there.
Throwback. I know.
Yeah.
The haters can suck it. That's what I say. I only say that because Degeneration X said it first. So here's the deal. Y'all got to see my pretty face, actually. There we go. Here's the deal. Before we get into looking at CoinMarketCap, let's actually real quick. Let's get into CoinMarketCap. Oh man, I'm up on my trade. Thank God. I almost got liquidated. I need to set a stop loss so I can make sure I'm in some profit here because I'll tell y'all, if y'all have ever used BitGet, they send you an email when you're within 30% of being liquidated. It's a scary email. You don't ever want to get that email. It's actually the first thing I check in the morning is I go check my email to see if I got liquidated or not. Just get rid of that. I'm done with that trade. Okay. All right. We're doing pretty good. I'll take it. Okay. So 22,695 cryptos, 553 exchanges, 1.07 trillion market cap, 45 billion in volume. Pretty low. Well, it was a Sunday. 42.1% for Bitcoin dominance. Guys, you just keep seeing a lot of these people out there, and ETH dominance up at 18.7%. 14 Paraguay's descending transaction. That's here for good. We'll never vote on that again. Paraguay's will stay forever. I'm voting Paraguay's in forever, especially because I know TJ doesn't love it. Why do I keep doing that? Have you not learned? What? Are you talking about my trade? Well, I made $1 million live last 2 years ago on this channel, so I think I'll do pretty good. I remember watching BitBoy wearing his hat backwards from his basement. That's 100% accurate. I did do that. But here's the thing, guys. You keep seeing these guys. You see some people that just hang and they cling on to their narratives. They cling on. The new bottom, another bottom for Bitcoin coming narrative. Oh, you got to cling on to it. Now, if we do hit another Bitcoin bottom, it'll be on a wick because of a black swan event. That's what it would be. You see these people that are saying they want to believe a recession is still impending. I would say we've already been going through one. I think we're actually starting to come out of it. I know the stock market is down. I know there's some stuff that's showing that may not be true. Guys, the government is mastering the art of kicking the can down the road. That's what they're doing. I'm very confident that going into next year, presidential election, that the economy will not be down. That's what you're seeing. And it's got to be a long enough period of success to where people feel comfortable that there's not a change in party leadership required. That's the goal. That's the game. Gary Gensler, Jerome Powell, all appointed by Democrats, I believe. Can you see who appointed Jerome Powell? He's been there forever. Yeah, it may have actually been George Bush.
We've looked at it before. I think it was we'll look.
Or was it Clinton or can't remember. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Obama.
I think it was.
Probably makes sense for it to be Obama, actually.
But it was Obama.
It was Obama. There you go. So both of our leader and Janet Yellen are three financial leaders all by one party. I mean, just think about it. Do you think they want their party out of control? They're going to kick this can down the road further than it can be kicked. Another one of these narratives you're seeing people cling on to is the idea that Bitcoin dominance is going back up to 60 or 70%.
It's actually not that cut and dry. It's kind of both. So it says he became a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors after being nominated by Obama.
Is that on the screen for people to see?
No, this is just in 2012. He was subsequently elevated to chairman by Trump, succeeding Yellen, and then renominated by Biden.
Okay, so it was picked by Obama, elevated by Trump, and then maintained by Biden. So I would say if I know him, like I think I do, I think he's probably a liberal because almost everybody that's in Washington, D.C. is. Have you ever seen the numbers, by the way, for the votes in Washington, D.C.?
No.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. This will be insane.
Somebody said FDR appointed Yellen.
Let's see. Presidential elections. Let's go down here to Joe Biden. 92% Democrat in Washington, D.C. Is that not insane? Why is that? How is that 92%? 5% voted for Trump. 92% to 5%. Is that not unreal?
Yeah.
And this is the Democratic Party. You can see pretty much been right on line the last 2 elections. And I mean, guys, this is not healthy for our country. This is not healthy for our country to have one party that's represented so much by its constituency. This is insane. And you could say, well, a lot of metropolitan cities are, yeah, I mean, if we go, let's go look at New York. If you look at New York, for instance, NYC, one of the most liberal places that exists, of course. This was 61%. 61% in the last election. 61 versus 92. That's insane. I don't think that's healthy. I would say it's not healthy on the other side. If it was the other side, I also would not say it's healthy. We need a little more push and pull there. But the fact is that, you know, this economy is not going to be wrecked by people that want to maintain the same leadership. It's just not going to be. If Donald Trump were president right now, you can guarantee they were going to tank. They would be tanking it right now. They would be going full out recession. But they're not going to do that because their party is in power right now. The people, the decision makers are from that party. So if it were Trump or whoever else, it would be just a Republican in general, they would be tanking it right now. They're going to want to maintain their leadership. And what you're seeing is the Bitcoin dominance is being affected by the crypto markets. A lot of people think that what's going to happen is we're going to get this gigantic recession and we're going to see dominance totally start to go away and it's going to go up to 50, 60, 70%. And people are like clinging onto that narrative and the crash of the economy with everything that they have. The minutes from the Fed last week said, nah, we're just going to raise 0.25 a couple more times. That's what it said. They're not concerned at all about this. That's why Bitcoin pumped last week. Let's go ahead and start covering. Let's do Twitter Buzz real quick. And then I'm going to cover some more stories as we get to bring Simon on. Okay, Twitter Buzz. It's insane how a single red candle turns into 10K Bitcoin is inevitable. It's unbelievable. Look, I love Ivan. Can I just say this? I love Ivan on tech. He's a good friend of mine. I think Ivan's great. Ivan, somebody brought up, could he lift more than me? Ivan, I doubt you can bench press more than me. Ivan is big, though. Ivan's tall. I'm not saying he couldn't for sure. I think Ivan works out. I think he's a big guy. I don't think he can do 300. We'll see. So I didn't want to call him out on that because he did say over the weekend, I saw somebody sharing something where somebody asked him that live on his chat, and he said, we might have to have a bench press off. I'm down with it, Ivan. I'll do it today. You fly over here today. I'll make it happen. But Ivan said something that I think he was saying it for engagement. I don't think he was really saying it because he thought it was true. He said when Bitcoin went to 22.8, he said, maybe Capo was right after all. And we're going down to 12K. It's like, Ivan, you know that's not true. Ivan was just playing on the engagement. I love Ivan. Anything I ever say about him is playful at best. Because like I said, I do think he was the best streamer. I think he was the best streamer before I came into the game. And really one of the reasons that he, he used to stream every day. He doesn't anymore. I think he went back to it recently, but we're very consistent on this channel. But Ivan is one of the biggest voices in crypto. He's got a lot of stuff going on. I love Ivan to death. And I think that, that sentiment is not reality. I don't think he really believes that we went down to 22.8 and now maybe we're going to 12K. But people are so quick to change their opinion these days on where Bitcoin is going. That's why what works best is if you have a roadmap for how things are happening. And if it gets outside of the ranges that you plan, you readjust your plan. So far, Bitcoin's done exactly what we said it was going to do for the last year and a half, pretty much. Breaking, more than 50% of all six-figure earners say they're living paycheck to paycheck, an all-time high. Guys, six figures is not that much money anymore. The average median income is $70,000 for a family. So $100,000 is barely above average, guys. I mean, for a medium income. Well, that's at earners individually, though, didn't it?
Let's look.
Crypto might have me in bench. He's low
six-figure earners. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this is individuals. I would say this. Chris is really cut. And he's very athletic. I don't know if he could beat me on a bench. We'll see. There's few people in crypto that can beat me on a bench. Could he out squat me? Probably. I don't know if he can. He's got bigger biceps than I do, but I can curl 50s pretty easy. So, Justin, U.S. credit card debt reaches 930 billion, a new all-time high. I mean, can we never have that tweet on here again? I feel like they just tweeted that last month.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to go up every month forever. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Why does that matter? Is it an all-time high because there's more people and more credit? You know, I don't think it's because all of a sudden we're having a credit crisis. It's just a continuation of the exponential credit crisis that we've been having for 20 years.
Less buying power on the dollar too.
Less buying power on the dollar. There you go. Good stuff. Max Santana says, until it's broken, I'm going to stick with 4-year cycle theory. Until it's broken. I mean, I agree 1,000%. Eric Crown can outbench me. He's freaking big. He could. I'm not saying I'm the biggest in crypto. There's definitely some people that I'm sure that can outbench me. Jason Casper maybe can outbench me. But you know, I'm just saying that's my strong suit. So, okay. All right. Let's look at Bitcoin really quick. Let me see if I can open up do I have one? Let's see here. I'll just work with Frank's chart. I'll try not to move it. Just a quick look at Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin, as you can see, he's looking for it. Maybe I shouldn't have got out of that short. Maybe I did. It kind of bounced off of this line here. He sees it kind of coming from this point, either hitting down this, the point of control is between 21.8 and 22.2. It could go down. If it goes down there, it's going to be starting to hit a stop loss. He expects it kind of could go down, hit off that point of control and bounce back up. I'll be honest with you guys, as far as my personal trading goes, I'm just not that confident in which direction it's going right now in the short term. It kind of feels like we've ran out of steam at 25 for now.
I agree.
And we could head back down and fill that gap at night. I hope you guys watched CME Gap video over the weekend. We could go fill that gap and then bounce back up. That's probably what I see happening. But if it can, I think it's going to take one more run at 25.2. What do you think about that? Do you think it will, or you think it's already had its last test on this pump?
When you say on, what do you mean last? Not for the year, right?
No, I just mean for this little rally until we, go back down to about 20.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty similar. I don't have I don't see any strong conviction that it won't continue downward, kind of retest some of those lower lows. It seems to be, banging its head against the wall at 25, trying to get up over that. And I really think that might turn into the resistance. If we're saying, I had said maybe between 20 and 28 early in the year. Now I'm thinking it might be more between 21 and 25 as that really tight range we stay in for the most of the year. And maybe we get back, maybe it's between 20 and 25. Whenever we do break 25, I think it's going to be more towards middle of this year. Maybe we get that push up into the, up towards 30, up into 30. But I think there's really not a lot of strong narrative, strong momentum to really push us back over that in the short term. So yeah, I tend to agree. This is kind of a sideways chop range that we're in right now.
I definitely do not believe I could outbench Crypto Crow. See that question. And Raphael says, I like your show, but don't make it about you. Well, y'all stop asking questions about me then. If y'all stop making comments and questions, and I won't respond to them. Thanks. Okay. All right. Moving on here. Let's see. Bitcoin whale population shrinks to early 2020 levels. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. Bitcoin keeps pushing for a bullish end of February as the month close starts another week's price action. We did it pump last night as we were getting to the close, or did it dump? I can't remember.
I mean, it didn't really. I mean, if it
moved big overnight.
Yeah,
but
I mean, we're pretty.
I think
much
it dumped a little bit. I think it dumped a little bit last night, if I remember correctly. I think it went back up to 24 and then went back down, I think. If I remember correctly. Well, let's take a look at the candle real quick and confirm that. High 23,890.
They had like 23.6.
23.7.
10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like the high was 23.8. So 23.9, pretty close to 24. So let's see here. Bitcoin monthly close precludes March trend showdown. It's managed to break back above 23.4. I think it's like right at that level right now. What's the price at right now? 23,363. So it's a little bit under that, but not far enough to be outside of what I would call the, what would I call that? The margin of error. The margin of error. If it went down $200 below and it did that for an hour or two, then I would say that, guys, you're going to get wicks that penetrate these levels all the time. but that doesn't mean that it has broken or you got to see the closes. Things are coming out in New York, Ben. This is from Steve Ramos. From your favorite Mets fan, I think we could test 18K one more time. Mother's Day dump, third straight year, possibly. I could see that potentially happening. I could see that happening, and then I could see that's beginning of the summer pump. We expect one more big pump this year. That would be the summer pump, or late, or I guess early spring. When does spring actually start? April or March?
I don't know.
I think March, like March 23rd is when spring starts, if I remember, or 21st, 22nd, 24th, somewhere around there. Yeah,
March
of course,
20th,
man. Really enjoyed going out there in New York, meeting all my people up there, man. We had a great time. I felt like I was, we were actually on like a play stage. So, I mean, that was the closest to a theater kid you'll ever see me. Okay. Further reiterate, 25K is level to break, obviously. I saw your short explain the super cycle. Could you briefly explain that theory again? Thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll put that in the end. I'll Q&A that. Let's see. U.S. macroeconomic data releases will be more subdued at the start of March. Yada, yada, yada. So stuff going on with Bitcoin whales and the price. Bitcoin old supply has just surpassed 15 million coins, 78% of the circulating supply. What does this basically mean? This basically means that the circulating supply is not circulating. That's what this means. So that's good. U.S. dollar strength is eroding as global investors urge to take action. When the investing climate changes, or is it when the investing climate changes, and the value of the U.S. dollar declines, CEO and founder of one of the biggest independent financial advice asset, blah, 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 advises global investors may want to reevaluate their holdings. This guy, Nigel Green, says, so the 2011 dollar's been on a relentless tear. The greenbacks is that like flagship crypto kind of?
Yes.
The greenbacks bull cycle impacted almost every asset on a global level. Ramped up further by 12 months, hit generational highs due to sharply and quickly increasing interest rates. So this is where I get real confused, guys. I get real confused, and that's why the 4-year cycle just works way better. Just works way better than trying to go with the macroeconomic data, okay? Because they just talk out of both sides of their mouth here, okay? They're saying global recession is coming. We're going, oh my gosh, everything's going to be going down. The stock market is going to totally crash. The US dollar is going to become virtually worthless. What do you think that means for Bitcoin? If the US dollar is virtually worthless and we measure the price of Bitcoin in dollars, it's picking up what I'm putting down here. Almost anything that happens is good for Bitcoin. If the stock market recovers and the dollar goes back up, ultimately that's good baseline for Bitcoin to increase in value. If it goes the other way, it's even a better increase in value because it's against the dollar, it's gaining while Bitcoin's ramping up in its uptrend and the dollar's going down on its downtrend. So very, very interesting. Let's see. Macroeconomics is low IQ. I had to ban that guy on Twitter. Why are you so annoying on Twitter, Jamie? Why are you so annoying on Twitter? But you come in here and you make a good comment unless you're being sarcastic. Yeah, looking at the macroeconomics compared to Bitcoin is low IQ, I believe. Why? Bitcoin keeps doing the same thing no matter what the macroeconomic data is doing. It's still on the same track it should have been on. Solana, we're going to do a video about this probably tonight. Solana outage. Solana outage and lack of outrage triggers ballistic reaction from the crypto community. As the Solana network suffered another setback, crypto community members went on social media to express various concerns, even comparing the blockchain to other projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is Crypto T. I really like this tweet. I actually retweeted this. Solana is down for a coordinated restart. Tech issue was throttling transactions and the blockchain started to unexpectedly fork. How is this possibly in the top 10 crypto list? I don't know. According to CoinGecko, I don't think it is. According to CoinMarketCap, it's coming in at, it's not even in the top 10 anymore. It's now at number 11. Pretty far from the next one. And then Shiba pretty far away. So it just depends now if you are on a, I think Hex passed it on CoinGecko. as well. So, you know, CoinMarketCap lists lists Hex outside of the top 200 because it doesn't meet its qualifications for exchange listings is the number one thing they say. Other community members also started to compare Solana to Ethereum and Bitcoin. A community member highlighted in a Twitter thread that Ethereum went with the slow but sure route. Did it go with the slow but sure route? I think it had to do that after it was already released. While Solana chose to move fast while sometimes breaking. And we're going to talk about this later tonight. So I'm not going to get too much into this story. Later tonight, we're going to discuss exactly what's going on with Solana. Why this Polygon Layer 2 is huge for Solana developers. Is anything huge for Solana developers? Is anything exciting for them? Or would you be excited to build on Solana right now, TJ?
Not after the story we just read.
Oh, that's what it took finally?
Well, I mean, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah. And what could be a huge relief for developers, the Eclipse Foundation recently announced the launch of the Polygon C-level virtual machine. Let's see. Believes the release of the Polygon SVM is to encourage Solana developers to bridge over to the Ethereum sidechain. I thought this was the ETH killer. You must be bonk to put money in Solana. Hey, that bonk really did well, didn't it? I sure am glad we promoted the crap out of that one. I was told that was different. That was going to be different than Solana. It was one giant pumping up. It might have been worth a flyer in the beginning, but, you know. Slow but sure route means they gave validators time to talk and vote. Okay, sure. I understand. They do the improvement proposals and stuff like that. What you're looking at is the difference between centralized and decentralized, what you're looking at. Some projects migrated to Polygon in the past few weeks. Did you see the stuff from the DeGods party?
I saw.
I met a guy in the Harry Potter store in New York City. I can't remember his first name. I'm not going to dox him anyways, but he works for a project called Boba Network, which is some kind of layer 2. I may want to look into it. I'm big on layer 2s, love layer 2s. And he was telling me about this party and all the pictures that got released from it, and I was just dying. Now, why was I in the Harry Potter store? It's a great question. My wife, 100%. I was in there the whole time, like, somebody get me one of them brooms so I can fly out of here. But she also said I took terrible pictures of her. Like, she wanted, like, good pictures. She said I did a terrible job, so thanks, honey. I do social media, but I'm not a professional photographer. But we had a good time in New York City, by the way. Great time. And I just thought it was really funny seeing the stuff from that picture or from that party. It was like 99% guys, and they were like dancing and have a good time. And I don't know. No offense to DeGods guys. I mean, I think it's probably universal across most projects. So I'm not calling them out specifically, but
yeah, I mean, I think he came out and said, like, nobody came to this party to get laid. Like, that wasn't, nobody thought that was what was going to happen. So
that's like going to a family reunion and trying to, well, yeah. Never mind.
Maybe in the South.
Yeah. Well, no, we are in the South.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe in Westeros.
Westeros. Yeah.
Westeros. Cardano's most hyped NFT project. We'll come back to this stuff. We're going to bring Simon on for a little bit here, but leading up to Simon coming on, I do want to share a post for you guys here on twitter.com, if it will ever pull up. Let's go to my posts here. Let's see if I can find this. There's that. I tried to get somebody to zoom in on the photo. They can't zoom into it, by the way, because it's not high enough quality. So I show up at this building right here. This is the Avenue of the Americas. This is the building in which White & Case law firm is contained in New York City. Man, we had a good time this week. We went to Nova Wolf. Lady cried. Lady cried and lied. She lied and cried when I showed up. She said no one from Nova Wolf was there, and I was going to leave, or she was going to call the police. And I told her, call the police. I said, do it. Because I knew she couldn't go get her phone and hold the door at the same time. And then what happens? Two Nova Wolf guys, great guys, nice guys, by the way, come out from the basement. Well, you have to be in the basement if you work in crypto. And I actually talked to those guys, and I have a different feeling of Nova Wolf now. But I don't want to talk about Nova Wolf today. We'll talk about that. They have a Spaces tonight. I think it's 6, a town hall. I'm going to try my best to be there. I have get ready for DC coming up. But I'm going to try to be there tonight if I can. But the whole thing is, this building right here was where White and Case is. Okay. Now, I am very interested, by the way. I'm going to be talking to Ryan this week about organizing protests. I want to organize protests from Celsius holders outside of every White and Case building, by the way. So if you guys are in the Celsius community, I want you guys to be listening and paying attention for that. I know most people in Celsius are in the United States. If I'm going to wait a few weeks because I want to see if they're going to do the right thing on their own. We're going to force them to do the right thing. We're going to force. Do you guys understand that this company has approximately $1 billion on the line? That's how much they would make from retail clawbacks. White and Case, $1 billion. So if I get killed in the next three months or so, you know it's White and Case. You know it's Greg Pessy. You know it's Keith Wofford. You know it's Aaron Kolodny. The name sounds like a, what do they call it? A colonoscopy?
Mm-hmm.
Or what's the bag? I don't know.
Colostomy bag?
Yeah, that guy, because he's full of, okay. So the fact is, we're going to be going after each and every one of these lawyers, but we're also going after their firm as a whole. Let me show you what they did to me, which also, by the way, guys, you see this? Cool. This is me at Barnes & Noble in New York City selling the book, Catching Up to Crypto. Here's a fun fact, an Easter egg for you guys. You guys can see this third book down here. It's got a more of a rounded edge to it. It's because it's a different book. I had to actually put books up underneath the 3 Catching Up to Crypto books to make so you guys could see this part, because it had sold more than any other book on the table. So pretty cool stuff. But I went to White and Case, and I was thrown out. Is what occurred.
It's higher up.
No, it's right here. No, that was just the where I asked someone to blow up the image. So this is what happens. And one guy said, what do you mean you had the flyer in your hand? Does that look like my hand, folks? Does that look like my hand? Is it? You see my pimp ring? No, guys. That's the security guard. So here's what happens, and I'll lead this into getting with Simon here in just a minute. Is we go to the building, and I'm with Aaron and AJ, and we walk in, and I said, okay, there's an escalator. So you had to have a key card to get to the elevators. I said, oh, there's an escalator right when you walk in. So we walk in, we get on the escalator, we go up to the top, and we are unfortunately, the top of the escalator is just one business. I'm like, oh, well, this ain't going to help us. I was hoping it was a place where we kind of wander around and recalibrate. So we get up there, and I look inside, and a lady stands up from the desk and starts walking down the hallway right when we get to the top, which I didn't really think anything about it. Go back down the escalator, and we're kind of hovering over beside the escalator on the back, because I'm trying to figure out like what we're going to do and not look suspicious, because we didn't know where we could walk to. So we're just kind of, looking out the building. And so keep AJ out of jail. That's a hard task there. So a security guard walks right up to us, and I see him. I'm looking at my phone, and I see him kind of in my peripheral. I'm like, I know he's coming. He goes, excuse me, gentlemen, can I help you guys? And I said, oh, yes, thank you so much for coming over here. Thank you. We're looking for White and Case LLP. Thank you for that super chat, Nady. Where is it? He goes, oh, it's not a problem. Just you go down there and then take a right, and then the reception desk is right there on the left on the other side of the building. I said, thank you so much, sir. And we start walking that way. Well, when we get over there, we see there's a coffee shop in the building. I say, okay, well, let's go inside the coffee shop. Maybe Greg's watching this right now. Hey, Greg. I know your wife. Did I tell you that? But the fact is that we are literally inside the building, and we're in the coffee shop, and I'm just trying to figure out what we're going to do. So Aaron and AJ are in the line, and so I have my phone, and I want to go out and kind of case a little bit. No, Case and White. I am White, and I was casing, so it makes sense. I had my phone. I was just kind of wandering around like this a little bit, looking around, acting like I was on the phone. And they said, a guy walks up to me, this guy right here, and he says, this is him saying, is this you, sir? Because you're not allowed in this building. I said, excuse me? Ben Armstrong, not to be admitted to White and Case premises. No entry allowed, and no information to be given to this individual. Like I'm the criminal. Like Like me asking the questions like I'm the criminal. And I will tell you this. This looks like a fun photo shoot that we had in that building. But I would tell you, going through all of the FTX stuff, going at Alex Mashinsky, going at Voyager, going against all of these scammers out there, these are the people that I pissed off the very most. These people want me dead. These people do not want my voice getting out there. And I'm going to crush them. I can't wait. Guys, you haven't met anybody like me, White and Case. I'm not going to stop. I'm like a bulldog. I'm relentless. And the harder you push me, the harder my teeth are going to clamp down. None of you are outside of my purview. None of you are. Security takes this. Somebody suggested also, by the way, they suggested that Nova Wolf called them. I don't think that's true, and here's why. If you look here, this says 5:54 p.m. On a screenshot of the phone where this was taken. We were inside of this building at 4:30 p.m., about 4 p.m. So this means this memo had to be sent at least one day beforehand. So I don't know if they got wind and what was, I don't know if I got a little snitch somewhere. Maybe I got a snitch telling people where we're going. But this is me at the front desk. That was literally pinned. And so far they're saying the image quality is too low to zoom this in to read the details. Because you can see there are more details here, including when this got sent and who this got sent from. That's what I want to see. I wish I could get that information. But this was on the White and Case desk. So I told AJ and Aaron as we were walking up to it, I told him, I said, I looked back at him and I was like, get ready for a picture. And I literally as I'm walking up to security, come on, picture, why are you doing this? As I'm walking up to security, you zoom out. I just turn around as well as this. We got the picture. It was very intense in there. This lady right here who works for the receptionist, she is a receptionist, very nice. I love it. She was very nice. This guy right here, also very nice. The guy holding the picture, this guy, see his hands, very nice. The other 6 people all look like they could chew nails and they stayed out of view and they looked like they wanted to kill me. Several people came down, including a supervisor of the supervisor. And I just kept trying to ask questions like, can I talk to somebody? Can I do this? What can I do? Where's your media person? So we could just be in the building long enough to see, everything that we could see. But I can tell you, these are not nice people. And if they think this is over, guys, if you would have just allowed me to go up there and speak with one of your lawyers, I could have maybe came back with something good to report. But you're finished now. Now that I know that I'm so close to the truth that you ban me from your building? Oh no, White and Case. You guys are terrible at chess. You're some of the worst chess players I've ever seen. And I can't wait because you're going to be put in checkmate. Here is, as we bring Simon on, here is the information you need to know. From what I've been told, the UCC controls all of this. The UCC controls White and Case. And that's why starting next week, I'm going to be out of town most this week. Starting next week, we're going to be digging into each one of those members. We're going to be putting all their information on Front Street. We're going to be showing you guys how to contact them because it's important that we get to these people. They are public figures. They're involved in this. You need ways to contact them, and we're going to show you guys how to do that. None of their contact information will be safe. I will tell them that. It's better for them to come out on Twitter and start making public statements because I'm going to start sending people privately to you. Because we're not playing games with this stuff. If you can't tell, FTX, when we went after Sam, it was all done already. Celsius, this is ongoing. And the bite marks are just getting started. You know, when I say stuff like that, I think about my dog, Odie Wilbs. And then I remember that... Then I remember he's the nicest dog ever, and he would never bite anybody, unfortunately. Henry will, though. Henry will bite the crap out of you. Simon, what's up?
Hey, BitBoy, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, I can hear you great. Okay, so
Awesome.
I want to say this. Yeah, I want to say this as we're bringing... can Drew come and clip me, by the way? Or Johnny? One of them?
Sure.
Yeah. First and foremost, I want to say, Simon, I've never said anything bad about you on this channel. And I've had you on a couple times. But, I had some questions. Like, what are your motivations? What's your plan? Because there were a lot of people putting stuff back and forth in my ears. I get a lot of that, a lot of information given to me. And I want to say that I really apologize to you for not supporting you more, because I now know you've been a good guy in this the entire time. And it doesn't matter. Some people would say, oh, you know, Simon's doing this for money. Well, we're all trying to pursue some level of personal interest. Like I would say my interest is more, my personal interest is actually more on behalf of my audience than my personal, because it's all tied together in one thing. But it doesn't matter. He put out the best plan. Simon had the best plan that took Celsius holders into consideration. So I apologize for not supporting that plan more. It took me a while to figure out really what I believed, you know, where you were standing. So we're in full support of you now. And we're going to be, Drew King, come clip me. And we will be, you know, talking to you more, having you on the channel more. And you and I are going to do this together, along with some other players that are in this game. And so I just wanted to start off the show by saying that Simon's got my full support now, 100%. I was just kind of in the middle a little bit. So wanted to say that. So let's get into it, Simon. Where do we stand right now with what's going on with Celsius?
Yeah, well, let me respond to that. So firstly, you know, we're at the crunch point right now. So this is a key moment in the case. And what happens in this case is going to define all the other bankruptcy cases. So this is certainly an industry of what is the future of these centralized companies. And so on the whole back and forth with me, look, I'm the 21st largest creditor, but I was also one of the largest shareholders in Celsius. So, you know, we raised my share, well, our shareholding at Bank to the Future that I'm the CEO of was worth 170 million at the last funding round. But I also had a balance. Now, I just found out this weekend that another 300 Bitcoin was pulled out of my account on the day of the pause. So that now makes me the top 10 creditor. Wow. And I'm getting a whole load of shit because I didn't even notice that 300 Bitcoin were missing from my account. But that's how on this that I've been for the last 8 months, eating, shitting, breathing, trying to get the best result for creditors at the moment. And so the conflict of interest that through people, and we're in a skeptical, you know, when you've been rugged by Alex Majinski and Celsius, you're going to have skepticism about everyone. But I've been here throughout the whole process, aligning my interests. If I make my money back, then everyone else will make their money back. Right. And I was forced into the bidding process because I submitted a plan and gave it to Alex Majinski before they filed for Chapter 11. That plan, if implemented, was based upon doing this for Bitfinex in 2016 already. And so we had that plan. It wasn't implemented because there was all sorts of fraud to hide. So I was forced into the bidding process and I offered up Bank to the Future to put together a plan. And what I wanted to do is set up what's called a stalking horse. And a stalking horse means you set the framework for how this is done in order to optimize the result for creditors. And then other people up the bid. Now, what I decided to do is, well, actually, the decision was made for me because they went from having a stalking horse process to switching to a sponsor whereby one company that is also a client of White & Case, as well as being the UCC, a client of White & Case. It was all put together whereby they just get a monopoly on a sponsorship plan. So it took out all the competitive tension, everything that I've been working towards. And the reason people were skeptical about me is because I put Bank to the Future in the mix, which is the company that I'm the CEO of. Now Bank to the Future is out of the equation. You know, we've just taken it out. It's better to just put this stalking horse set up, take Bank to the Future out of the equation, and I can just support creditors as a creditor. And I'm just a normal Joe Schmo that's the 10th largest creditor in Celsius, rather than having that conflict. So hopefully we're all now aligned and we don't need to worry about, you know, but the fact of the matter is, if Nova Wolf ends up bidding on this process and we can align our interests in the way that I designed, then I want Nova Wolf to make as much money as possible because that means we will make as much money as possible. That's what I tried to do with Bank to the Future. We failed, but Bank to the Future is out of the equation. But now we get back to what have we got to do for creditors? And that's where I think we should spend our time now.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think the stalking horse is a great idea. And I do believe, so my kind of clarity that I've had through, you know, look, people think that I just go and I kick down people's doors and I just go there for clicks. The information I learned by going to Nova Wolf was so beneficial to helping bring clarity to what we need to do as a community that it was unbelievable. Yeah, it started out like really aggressive and it turned into like, which, you know, there's only so much of it we'll be able to show on camera. Of course, none of the White and K stuff we'll be able to show. But look at the difference between how these two companies operate. One of them, they did try to keep me out at first, but then they let me inside and they let me talk to one of the co-founders on the phone with no cameras around. Awesome information for 30 minutes. Then you look at White and Case, they kicked me out before I even get in the door. It shows you who's trying to hide and who's trying to clarify the truth. And my clarity from this is that UCC is where we really need to put the pressure, because they control the votes to determine the retail clawbacks. And I'm not sure, you know, there's also the other issue, Simon, I'm sure you're aware of, which is the valuation of the sell token at 20 cents as opposed to, I guess, the 81 cents or where it's trading at now, 50 cents. Because people are getting a haircut probably on the amount that they have, and then they're getting a haircut also on the price. So it's kind of sketchy what they're doing there as well. But
and a third haircut on the tax.
And a third haircut on the tax, right. So very sketchy stuff there as well. And I've also discovered that there's a group of people like me where we got loans liquidated because we couldn't move our own assets around on the platform, and they want us to send more money in, like a bunch of crazies. Told them I wouldn't do that under any circumstance, so we got liquidated. There's also a group that may need to be formed because you have the custody group, you have the clawback group, you have several different groups involved in this. But I think that for the most part, UCC has votes to control all this, because here's what we want, Simon. This is where I want to talk, and I want us to kind of come to some basic understandings of next points and next points of action. I think we all believe that in reality, the reorganization is probably the best route, because the reorganization also gives us the ability to create the stalking horse and have other people come in and try to maybe best the reorg plan. So it's very important the reorganization plan comes out correct. If it doesn't, and this whole thing fails and it goes to chapter 7, then we're all in trouble, right? So the best way to do this is to get the plan tweaked to where it has the things that most of the people want in it, and then let people compete and bid over making that plan better, right? I think that's generally what we want. How, from today, February 27th, how do we get there? What are days to watch for, and what are things people should be getting prepared to do to fight?
Yeah, okay. So let me cover the sell token side, and then I'll go through the steps as well. The irony of this whole situation is that I knew really early, because I've been dealing with crypto regulations for over a decade now. You know, I knew really early that the SEC was not going to let sell token come back alive. So I was the very first person to say sell token is no more, and that caused a lot of controversy. So all the people that were messaging you were people that hated me because they thought Celsius 2.0 was coming and the sell token was coming. But within my plan, I set the framework that Nova Wolf is using right now. White and Case used it as training for all the new people that are joining this case, but they took Bank to the Future out of the equation and made it a monopoly. Right, so back to the sell token. I gave everyone the price of the bankruptcy because I knew that you have to have fairness, and I knew the SEC would object to this. The SEC is now tearing down Voyager. They've gone from getting 72% with SBF's fake FTX bid in order to unwind all this fraud, down to 50% with Binance, down to approximately 20% because FTX is now clawing back a bunch of money from Voyager. And the SEC is objecting, saying you're not treating everyone equal, and no, this is an unregistered security, therefore you're not going to get this done. So I wanted to prevent all of that in the Celsius case. Unfortunately, they didn't do that in Voyager, and they're experiencing it right now. Here's the irony of the whole situation, and why I hope we can turn a new chapter. Everybody that thought I was out to screw sell token holders, they got a 4x better offer on my plan, and they ended up getting 20 cents, under this new plan. And so now everyone's realizing, they're coming out and saying, "Oh, right, this is fraud. You know, they're now saying that Celsius is fraud. Now they know Celsius 2.0 is happening. So look, a load of people hate me. A load of people hate you. We've all got to come together as a
no,
team.
excuse me, Simon. No one hates me. I've never had a single negative comment towards me in my life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm working with the people that I never imagined that I would ever work for, that have given me shit for 8 months. But that's what we've got to do, because this is important. So now that brings us to, what do we need to do next?
Right.
BitBoy, you started the campaign, you started the rampage, bringing attention to some of the real evil things that could happen in this plan. So I've put it down to 3 simple things, and here's why this is important. You may not be an accreditor at Celsius, but what happens in the Voyager case affects the Celsius case, that affects the BlockFi case, that affects the FTX case, and that affects the regulated, reborn companies, you know, into the future, which also sets the framework for what comes next in the DeFi space. So this certainly is an issue that everyone needs to pay attention to, because we have the opportunity to set the right process for what happens when a centralized exchange goes into financial difficulty. Right now, we know exactly what happens when a bank goes bust. We know what happens when a broker goes bust. And now we're going to find out what happens when a centralized crypto platform goes bust. And that's really important. So there's 3 fundamental things. The first thing, clawbacks. Destroy the industry, destroy innocent people. There are a bunch of people that listened to the warning signs and got their money out of Celsius, as you know.
There were plenty of them. We should have done it ourselves. I mean, there were warning signs everywhere for even when I went on to the Celsius live stream with Alex one day, like a couple weeks before this happened. Like, I even noticed, like, you know, some of his language, it just didn't really line up with what he was saying, what he had said before. Now, I didn't raise alarm bells on it. Why? Because I just thought they're too big to fail. I kind of thought, like, you know, even though like his tone had changed a little bit, there were tons of rumors out there. Like, I just personally felt like an idiot looking back, just like people thought with FTX, it was too big to fail. There were signs everywhere. People were tweeting about this for 2 months before it happened.
Yeah. And as a slight tangent, and I'll get back to the 3 things. But Alex, I'll see you in criminal court. There was one account on this case where on the day of the pause, 289 Bitcoin worth $8.8 million was rugged out of the account, and that was my account. Now, the irony of this situation is that is the criminal court that we need to get Alex Maszynski's wealth and return it back to creditors, because there are good clawbacks, and that is insider clawbacks. Maszynski went on every channel saying that this is safer than a bank. You don't need to worry. And he stopped people from pulling money out of the platform because while he was pulling his money out of the platform. That is insider clawbacks. He knew that the company was insolvent since 2021, and he hid that by marking his token to market using $580 million of RETH and Bitcoin in order to pump his sell token position so that he could exit it. And that is something that he will have to pay for, and his unjust enrichment does need to be clawed back and given right back to creditors. So that's the type of clawback. There are different types of clawback.
And I will tell you, Simon, real quick. I will tell you that, you know, as I'm going to Washington this week, these are some conversations I'm going to be having with some of the politicians we're going to be meeting with. I want them to understand really the depth of what's going on. We actually have another entity that we're looking at that could potentially collapse. It won't affect most people in crypto. It's not necessarily on a retail level, but we're starting to investigate another big company that might have some of the same stuff. We don't have enough evidence to really nail it down yet. We'll be talking to him about that. I'm also going to be talking to him in depth about what happened at Celsius, what's going on with Alex Maszynski, why are there not criminal charges yet? You know, discussing these clawbacks, how they're being used. Like, you are 100% right, Simon. Some of these clawbacks are perfect. Insider clawbacks need to happen. If you knew and you pulled your money off, not because you knew because you saw rumors, but if you had inside information showing proof, you need to have the money come back. Alex Maszynski needs to have money coming back onto the exchange. If they would actually pursue that money, that would probably end up being almost the same amount of money that they're going to actually profit from the clawbacks, from the retail clawbacks. And the retail clawbacks are going to take years and years and years. This isn't going to be a quick process.
Yeah. So the 3 things we need to do from here. The first one is we need to distinguish what clawbacks are good and right and what clawbacks are bad. Bankrupting people in dollar terms when the market has corrected since then, you know, for people that manage to get their savings out because they listen to the warning signs, is unethical. It's immoral. I have zero exposure to it myself, but it's not good for the industry. And that is part of this reorganization plan that needs to be completely tweaked. And that's the part, the crusade that you've been on. And it is White and Case that has put that in the liquidation trust. And the UCC do have the power to change that if they accept their leadership. We managed to get the UCC to change certain things. And I think it's important to say, I know you're going to be doing a lot of stuff on the UCC. They are creditors and they have their advisors. They need to stand up to their advisors, but they do control a lot of this process. Their information is already, you know, published out there. But I do believe that they are just creditors, just like us. And they need guidance on what we want. And we're going to have to apply that pressure to make sure it happens. Right. So clawbacks, get that right. Innocent people should not be screwed because they managed to get their lifetime savings after they were misrepresented and defrauded, as what outlined in a 600-page examiner report. Right. That's clawbacks. The second thing that's happening here is they have figured out a way to use the bankruptcy code and the bankruptcy law in order to cram down whatever shit they give us by giving a bribe to those people that have less than $5,000 on their account. These cram downs are a deliberate strategy in order to inflict a plan upon people. If you cannot take what I've already given, the framework of how I know to get creditors the best results, and we don't have to do it. I gave it to them to do it with somebody else. They took 7 of the bad things, you know, the best things that make it work, took them out of the plan. And I created a video on that on my YouTube channel on Simon Dixon, if anyone wants to go geeky into all this stuff. I don't want to go that in depth, but cram downs is an absolute failure. If they have to use cram downs in order to cram down a plan on us, then the UCC have failed and they need to put together a better plan. We already have that framework that can be done. Then the third thing, and then we can give some deadlines on what comes next. Implement the stalking horse setup. Our bid was a stalking horse bid. That's a terminology in the bankruptcy code, which means put together the ideal framework that maximizes the result for creditors and then open it up to the competitive market so someone can say, well, we can do this mining part of the business and much, much better and get a better result for creditors. We can take on all those lenders, and there's companies that are willing to do that. We can put together a more liquid security token exchange. You don't have to be in a complete startup blockchain. And then everybody can upbid and the best result wins. That's the 3 things that we need to have from here. And if we don't get those in the next few weeks, we are going to be crammed down, clawed back, and given a plan that was just introduced by a sponsor that has all sorts of conflicts of interest because the UCC is hiring the same law firm that represents all of the companies that is involved in putting together this plan in a monopolistic sponsorship style when it should be open up to competition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree with all 3 of those points. You know, you make a lot of great points about the clawbacks and how it's unethical. Like, they're asking people to, even if you do get clawed back, you would actually have to return the amount at a much higher price when the price is lower, and that's insane. That's extremely unethical what they're doing. But I'll be honest with you, Simon, I think we're going to win. I don't think this is going to end up happening. So I don't want to get people too down in the garbage about it. But I mean, these are facts. If it did happen, that's why we have to apply the pressure. But personally, I'm already considering this a victory. I think we're going to be relentless with these people. They're going to have no choice if they ever want to have a life again. They're going to have to vote with the way the most people want, because they're our representation is what they are at the UCC. So all of these attorneys and all of these people on the UCC, if this goes the wrong way, your lives will be ruined. I promise you that. I will make sure for the rest of my days, I spend countless hours making sure that your lives will be absolutely miserable if you screw over thousands and thousands and thousands of people over billions of dollars. So that's number 1. Number 2 here, let's talk about the important dates, because right now, like, we've told the 3 things we want to push for, but what are actionable steps and what are like dates that we need to be looking for in order to turn this into, you know, a mob of angry people with pitchforks and lanterns into a machine that can get this done?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the 15th of February, just after Valentine's Day, the UCC said if Celsius does not release their reorganization plan after 8 months of messing around, then they will not allow them an extension. They released it at 1 a.m. on the 15th or 14th or Valentine's Day. Everyone was out celebrating Valentine's Day. They released it at 1 a.m. on the 15th.
Oh, Simon, I have to stop you. Bitcoin's down. There's a much lower percentage of people than normal were able to celebrate Valentine's Day. Not a lot of girlfriends going around in crypto right now. I want to make that very important distinction. Thanks.
Yeah, right, the amount of time we've been spending on Twitter Spaces as well means that relationships are suffering.
Exactly. Okay, so you can continue now.
Yeah. And so we gave them that deadline. Now, this is the uniqueness of this situation. I've been going live on Twitter Spaces each and every week throughout the whole last 8 months in order to keep people informed and congregate as a community. We've had this emotional roller coaster up and down, but we are now getting to that unified point. Oops, sorry, not got my notifications off. We're now getting to that unified point. We managed to put so much pressure onto the UCC, listening into our Twitter Spaces with Nova Wolf, with everyone from Celsius, so much pressure that they released that plan in the midnight, and that now gives us this framework where we realized that it was actually very similar to my plan, but they took out 7 of the important points. But that's okay. Now that led to them applying for an extension, and the judge said, no, we'll give you, because you just released it, we'll give you until everyone can object to it on the 1st of March, and there'll be a court hearing for that on the 8th of March. So if we can't get this plan where it's meant to go by the 1st of March, and tonight Nova Wolf are doing their first Twitter Spaces, then we are really, really cutting it tight. And then the judge can object to exclusivity, hand it over to a more competitive market, and we can get the stalking horse, no cram downs and lack of clawbacks, one way or the other. That's either going to be done by the UCC or it's going to be done by Celsius. So Celsius have complete control over the process until the UCC decides we're not going to extend exclusivity. Now they're going to apply for an extension until the 31st of March. And then it's going to take right up until June, July to execute this thing. We've only got one shot. So what we need is by the 31st of March, a stalking bid without clawbacks, just insider clawbacks and the right to find ones, and a plan that doesn't have to be crammed down just by bribing people off. We've got till the 31st of March to do that. And then if they do not do that, then we need to move over to someone else executing this plan and opening up to competition, because we need the stalking horse bid and then everyone to compete and improve on it so that we can release that money by August, have a great mining operation, and have a recovery that gives everyone the maximum amount of coins that they can get back, and also a risk play so they can try and have a recovery.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. I've jotted down some notes here from this so people understand what, we're going to help people understand what needs to happen. It sounds like, if I'm reading all this correctly, that what we really need to be doing, unless something were to change and that March 31st date were to get rejected or sped up or something like that, that really when our power play needs to be is probably somewhere between the 8th and the 31st. That's when we need to put the most pressure, or do we need to do that? That's correct, right?
Yeah, Judge Glenn's going to highly likely extend exclusivity to the 31st of March. That's our time to get this plan right. Okay. If they don't release the right type of plan by 31st, we need to open it up. We need to get rid of that exclusivity. And so in that time, let's get this plan right. Let's set the framework. And remember, we are not just doing this for Celsius. We're doing this for BlockFi victims, for FTX victims, for all the others. And we need to set the framework of how a speedy recovery happens. People get their liquid crypto back. It's restructured as equity. Another company takes over. They compete in order to take over. And just like right now, when Lehman Brothers went bust, it was gobbled up by Nomura and Barclays. We need a similar type of process so that we can get on with using these centralized companies, knowing that whenever there is, hopefully everyone's using DeFi, and they own Bitcoin and they've learned how to store it on their cold wallet, but we still need the on and off ramps. We still need those centralized companies. And when they do fraud or they go through, or they go through distress, we know within a very reasonable time frame how to take those over to a better operator that's not going to commit fraud and implement sound policies that are better for their customers.
That's it. Now, I just want to real quick, I'm going to summarize. Well, actually, Simon, I'm going to let you go. We got to finish the show. We just got a few minutes to finish. We will bring you back on. Let's try to schedule him for the 9th, guys. Hopefully you'll be free on that day, on the 9th. We'll have you back on. You hear that, Drew? Okay. This will be the day after the 8th. This is when we will be able to give you guys a real action plan for what we want to do. I want to do protests. I want to organize protests all over the United States at White and Case. That's probably where we need to attack. I want to go to their driveways and protest. I know where Greg lives. I know where Keith lives. I want to go there. I want to go to their driveway and protest. It's public property right in the front of their houses. And I want people to really understand the pressure and the heat that's about to come on people left and right. These are these are legal protests, is what we want to do. So we're going to make sure that we have, what, you got to get something from the city to protest. What do they call that, TJ? Do you know? What do they call that?
Permit?
Yeah, permit. We're going to get permits to do it. We're going to do it all the right way. So that's something I'm really looking at doing. But Simon, we're going to have you back on the 9th. I'm going to tell everybody the kind of overview of what we just talked about once you get off. And, I'll be in touch with you. We talk privately a good bit. So thanks for coming on today. And let's get these guys.
All right. Keep it peaceful. Keep it legal. And we'll do this the right way. Cheers, Bit Boy.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks. Bye. Simon knows me very well. That's why I had to say that at the end. Yeah, keep it peaceful, keep it legal. That's what we're going to be doing here at BitBoy Crypto, because those are the things we like to do. Guys, just a quick overview. These are the 3 things we're going to be asking for. Number 1, they've got to get clawbacks right, which means inside information clawbacks, employee clawbacks for people that knew. Just because someone was an employee at Celsius did not mean that they knew. We got to figure out the people that knew. We know who those people are. I've got don't pull my phone up here or my screen up here, but I can tell you a couple people that I'm going to be going back for that is and let's say their names and let's say them loud. Daniel Leon and Eliza Landes or Landez. I don't know how you say your last name. Coming after both y'all. Just so y'all understand. Y'all are on the list. Haven't said your names publicly till now. You're on the list. I got so much information about you guys, it's ridiculous. Number 2, we're going to be making sure there's no cram downs. The cram downs are basically a bribe to get people to vote the way they want to vote. If they have to bribe the majority of people to get the votes that they need, they know the plan is wrong. And then number 3, we're going to make sure there is a stalking horse plan, which means that we're going to, a plan is going to be released, and then competitors are going to be able to bid on top of that so that we get the best plan. Important dates. March 1st, there can be an objection to the current plan. March 8th, there's a hearing for that plan, which means after that hearing, they need a new plan by the 31st. And then the 31st is when we want the stalking bid, correct clawbacks, and no cram downs to be put in. Talking with Simon off air yesterday, or maybe, it was yesterday. No, Saturday. I talked to him on the phone. And we basically both agreed after laying out all the data that there really isn't much that needs to be done between March 1st and March 8th, other than the just regular pressure we're putting on these people. It's going to be that March 9th through the 31st that we are going to apply so much pressure on these people, they're going to want to cry. And by the way, I will be here. There's no week I'm going to be gone. I'm going to be gone at the very end of the month, and I'm going to be gone maybe for a couple days in the middle of the month. But I'm going to be here every day pretty much in March, with the exception of maybe a small handful. So we're going to be putting this pressure on people, and there is nothing they're going to be able to do to stop it, because we are going to make their lives miserable. I want the UCC to hear me. I'm going to make your lives unbearable for eternity. I can do that. I have that power. I have those resources. I have the research. I have the information. You need to vote this way. This is what people want. Look at the reactions to this stuff. Also say, White and Case, Keith Wofford, Aaron Colodany, my friend, Craig Pessy. You lied on this show and everybody saw it. Everybody saw that you lied, Greg. And then like a little bitty baby, you scurried away from Twitter because you can't handle the freaking pressure, bud. Hey, guess what? You don't like my tone? You're really not going to like me when I am angry. I can tell you that, Greg. Greg. Oh, Greg. Your little security, Keith, your little security is not going to be enough. That's all I got to tell you. They're not members of law enforcement. They're just security. You're going to need a lot more than that to stop the army that's coming. That's what I can tell you. All right, guys, let's finish up the show real quick. I've got just a couple minutes here. We're going to run through these stories really fast. I'm going to be on a Twitter Spaces with Dfinity, by the way. If you guys want, don't put that. Okay. So let me pull up Dfinity real quick. Dfinity. Here it is. We're going to be doing a Twitter Spaces. Go to you can pull it up, @Dfinity on Twitter. We're going to be doing a Twitter Space with them that is ICP, the people behind ICP. Can't wait to be doing that with William Laurent and Daniel from Crypto is Good. Excited to be doing that at 1 o'clock. So unfortunately, we just got to run through the rest of the show real quick. I want to spend a little more time on some of this stuff, but don't have time. Cardano's most hyped NFT project announces integration with Sandbox. And I do, by the way, have a ICE 3200 super chat. Exactly right. They can't pass without bribing us. Thank you so much for fighting for us and partnering with Simon. No insider clawbacks, no cram downs, fair treatment of token holders. 100%. We're going to make sure that that happens. But yeah, guys, so there we go. Some cool Sandbox integration. What else was I going to say about that, about Sandbox and Cardano? Oh, AGIX. Ben Gertzel, I think, will be on the show, I think, towards the end of March. We've been talking about dates. I think we're going to do the live stream. Think that'd be good?
Sure.
Instead of a pre-recorded video? We should probably do a video, like a release a video on AGIX, maybe the day before or maybe later that day. And we can kind of use them together, I think would be good. Maybe we can use some clips from the interview even in that. That would be the best way to do it, actually. So I think he's going to be coming on. Right now, we have tentatively March the 23rd. So bidding on Dookie Dash, winning key rises to $1.6 million. What a clean flush. Justin Sun stakes 150K ETH on Lido Finance and largest daily, stake inflow. Liquid staking replaces DeFi lending as second largest crypto sector. Let's see. Ether, testnet Ether spikes. Blah, 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 blah. Ripple versus SEC court case update is of February 27th. John Deaton, I really wish I could cover this story a little more, guys, but unfortunately, we just got to run. I'm going to read the tweet. Not true outside of Gary Gensler and BTC Maxi. This is exactly what I'm doing a video on later this afternoon. I'm going to be responding to Michael Saylor's tweet, and that's what John Deaton does. So come to the video or the channel at 3 o'clock. You're going to see what I have to say about that. There really is no Henneman. He's renamed, guys. We renamed him William Henneman. But there's really no way around, the fact that, this XRP case is entangled in with all of these SEC lawsuits and allegations. So come back to the channel at 3 o'clock. We're going to talk about that. And Corey, your question about super cycle, I'm going to do a video this week on that. How about that?
There you go.
Let's do that. All right, guys, that's all I got. Be blessed. Hey, let's freaking get them. BitBoy out.